Hello everyone and welcome to Recap V. Today we'll be talking about a show called The Boys. The Boys is an American superhero television series developed by Eric Kripke. The series is loosely based on the comic book of the same name by Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson, which was originally published by DC Comics under its Wildstorm imprint before moving to Dynamite Entertainment. Watch out for spoilers and let us begin. The show starts off with two boys who are comparing which heroes are stronger. But right after that, we see some robbers driving straight to them while they are driving away from the cops. But as they approach the two boys, a woman called Maeve jumps in front of the van and stops it. She stops the van and some robbers, but two of them manage to get the boys as captives. Thankfully we see another hero called Homelander coming in, burning one's hand, and throwing the other to the sky, saving the boys, who ask him for a selfie, as the robber falls to his death. After this we see a guy working at a store. His name is Hughie Campbell, who seems like your typical awkward guy, and seems to be scared to ask his boss for a raise. His girlfriend then comes in, makes some dirty jokes, and then they leave. There they talk about how he wasn't able to get a raise, and how she says she wants them to get a place and move in together. He was surprised and got really happy, and as the two of them start planning on what to do and giving each other a kiss, she vanishes, and then we see piles of blood hitting his face, and a hero with super speed seems to have gone right through her, destroying her whole body. We then hear him only repeating the word, "I can't stop," and without a care in the world, he starts running again, leaving Hughie with his girlfriend's hand still holding his. After this, we go to a girl called Annie January, who is going on an audition to join theseven, the most famous superhero group. And she seems to be quite excited, saying she wants to be a hero and save the world. We then go to Hughie going home after his girlfriend's funeral. As he is having a small talk with his dad, the news starts showing Atrain, the guy that killed his girlfriend, and we hear him say a bunch of lies, that he was chasing some robbers, and saying that she stepped in the middle of the street. Hughie starts getting angry, saying she was half a step off the curb, but right after this, the doorbell rings. And we see a man that is sent by Vought, the superhero company, saying that the company will give him a $45,000 check, as long as he signs a document. Hughie says that's a confidentiality agreement, saying that if he signs this he can't talk about what happened. The guy then says he understands and that they're just trying to help, so Hughie just says to say they're sorry, and without waiting for a response, he starts getting angry, tells the man to get out, and then starts jumping him as the scene cuts. And we see that this was all in his imagination, and then only asks the guy if he can think about it. After this, we are sent to Annie, who doesn't think she is accepted into theseven, but right after this, she gets a phone call saying that she was. Then, Vought holds a press conference where we see their global influence firsthand. Starlight is also presented to the world as the new hero of theseven. Then we see her with a hero called Deep, who is showing her around the Seven Tower and where the heroes hold meetings. As they are having some small talk, she admits to having a crush on him as a child, and so he uses that to his advantage, and blackmails her into giving him fellatio. But then the scene cuts to a Jimmy Fallon show, who seems to be interviewing one of the seven heroes, called Translucent, who starts explaining how his powers work. The scene then turns to Hughie, who is watching this at work, as he tries to talk to a weird guy in the store. And then the guy says Hughie's name, and starts talking about what happened to him and his girlfriend, surprising him. When Hughie asks who he is, the guy shows an FBI badge, and introduces himself as Billybutcher. He intends to fight the supers and enlists him to his cause, and explains to Hughie that this thing happens a lot more than he thinks, and it is all covered by this multi-billion-dollar corrupted industry ruling the world. Butcher then sends him to a bar where superheroes go to have some illegal fun, and there he shows him a video of Atrain laughing at his girlfriend and the way he killed her, angering Hughie even more. We then go back to Starlight and we see her vomiting in the toilets. Queenmaeve arrives and tells her to pull herself together. And as she leaves, she curses at Translucent as he has turned invisible, spying on the girls, discussing Starlight even more. We then go back to Butcher and Hughie, who asks him, are all the heroes like that? So he explains that all of them except Homelander. He then gives him some documents of reports the day his girl was killed, and says that there are no reports of banks being robbed, and that they are hiding something that he had in his bags, and asks why he couldn't stop. Hughie then asks, how can I help? So Butcher gives him a mission, accept the money they give him, but only if Atrain does it in person, so that they need to get him in the 7 tower where he can plant a bug on the office. Hughie starts to panic, gets scared, and says he won't do it, so he leaves. We are then sent to Madeline Stillwell, Senior Vice President of Hero Management, who is trying to make a deal to sell a superhero to the mayor of Baltimore, but she is asking for $300 million a year. He doesn't agree to this, and asks for $200 million, so when she doesn't agree he starts talking about something called Compound V in a threatening way. Madeline starts to look nervous when he says that, and responds by saying she has no idea what he is talking about. The scene then cuts to Annie, who is talking on the phone with her mother, and seems to want to tell her that she wants to quit, but after hearing how excited her mom was that she is in the 7, she doesn't say a thing, and then they end the phone call as we see Hughie is sitting next to her. She breaks down crying, so he asks if she's okay. The girl then tells him that she loves her job, but the people there are not what she expected, and so Hughie gives her some deep talk, managing to convince her to not give up, which is something he does to himself as well, because after this we see him going to Butcher saying he is in for the mission. They then make a call to Vought, and the guy on the phone says that he will tell them about this, but warns him that they will say no, and hangs up. But Butcher then tells Hughie that they will 100% agree to letting him meet Atrain in person. We also go to Annie, who thanks to Hughie gets the courage to go back into the 7, as they are having a meeting. Deep tries to make some jokes about her, but she manages to shut him up. And then the others only start caring about money. Homelander then tells them to stop this, and that they are heroes and should act like such, and then starts asking them who they saved this week. We go back to Hughie and Butcher. He explains what Hughie needs to do, and then we see him waiting in the 7's office. Atrain then shows up, but Hughie seems to have PTSD because as Atrain is apologizing, all Hughie sees is him covered in his girl's blood. He then gets his shit together, and accepted the apology. After Atrain leaves, he asks to go to the bathroom, and there as he tries to take out the speaker it slips off his hands, but right after this Starlight goes in, he waits for her to leave and then picks it up, and after he leaves, we see that Translucent was in the bathroom as well. He then signs the $45,000 check while sticking the bug under the table. Butcher then sends him to his workplace, and leaves, and the scene cuts to Madeline, who calls the mayor and tells him that she will drop the hero to $230 million. And then starts talking about Compound V, saying that it isn't true and is just a rumor, and then telling him to have a safe flight home. We go back to Hughie, and after his boss leaves the shop, Translucent enters and shows him the bug. He then starts attacking the guy, and after throwing him around, he takes a TV and tries to hit Hughie with it, but Butcher then shows up, crashing the car into the shop, hitting Translucent. The two of them start to fight, and Translucent seems to be winning. But then Hughie takes the cable of the TV Translucent pulled out, and electrocutes him with it, knocking him unconscious. Butcher tries to put him in the trunk of the car. Hughie then says why he isn't calling the FBI to use this as evidence, since he attacked them. But Butcher then reveals that he isn't actually a Fed. The scene then cuts to the mayor and his son on a plane. Homelander then shows up, and starts lasering the plane, destroying it. And this is where the first episode of The Boys ends. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like, comment on what you think about it, and don't forget to subscribe so I can make more recaps of movies, TV shows, animes, etc. See you all on the next video.